You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Project Runway. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Project Runway news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Project Runway.
Woohoo! Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. Thank you, Ronnie.
Some nice clapping going there.
Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm Canden Bliss here with Miss Stephanie Wenger to cover Project Runway, Season 10, Episode 8 of All Stars. There's only a few more episodes left.
I know. I felt like the beginning of the season was going slow. I know we continue to say this.
We continue to say this. It's funny how the pace has completely changed.
And now it's just even within the episode, you can't believe that you're already watching them go down the runway.
I mean,
it's crazy.
I feel like we sat down for 5 minutes tonight, and by 5 minutes, they were fitting their models. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? And kind of a lot happened in between the beginning and the end of and the middle of the episode. A lot going on today.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network.
Yes, you are. You are listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network. Thank you.
Always a good reminder.
Always a good reminder, just in case we forget, and just in case you guys forget, you're watching AFTERBUZZ TV. Just so you know, today, from about noon to 6, we've been broadcasting live from the Carrie Feinstein Oscars Style Lounge and Gifting Suite at the Mondrian Hotel. There's an order to those words, and I'm not quite sure what it is.
I think you got it.
I think I got it, but you know, it was a wonderful event. We worked really hard, and I hope you guys were tuning in to our 5 live broadcasts. We did film analysis for The Artist, The Help, Moneyball, Hugo, and Iron Lady today.
Yeah,
so,
I got them all.
Yeah, it was, you know, it was a fun day. We got to meet a lot of cool celebrities. They were really excited about AFTERBUZZ TV, and we're hoping to get a few of them on to our shows here at the studio.
I think that would be so exciting to have them come in and hang out.
It would, and they're super fans of a lot of our TV shows, so looking forward to that. And just so you guys know, all you AFTERBUZZ fans, we are broadcasting live from the same Style Lounge, the Carrie Feinstein Style Lounge at the Mondrian Hotel, tomorrow from noon to 6. So, Pacific Standard Time, of course. So you guys tune in to AfterBuzzTV.com, watch us live, and it's going to be a fun event. You'll get to see some celebs talking to us and stuff. So, looking forward to that, but let's get on to Project Runway. Tonight's challenge, they went to the United Nations in New York City, which is one of my favorite places, I think, in the world, just as far as New York City goes. I mean, I've been to the UN and learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a place where I went when I was younger, and then recently was able to go back, and you kind of just, every time I go, I learn something new and something different and awesome.
It's certainly a place, I mean, I feel might make me sound less intelligent than I feel like I am, but the first time I went, I feel like I learned that new countries exist that I didn't know existed.
You know, there's definitely that, and I feel like I always am like, oh, and it makes me want to go online and be that person that I so am and like research like on Wikipedia, like, oh, what is this country all about? And like, obviously, Wikipedia is not the best place to do research, but it's a starting place.
It's a starting place. I mean, there's so many independent, they call them like independent states or, you know, commonwealths or things like that, where it kind of confuses you and you're not quite sure, is this an independent country, whatever. So some interesting choices as far as the countries that they were supposed to choose for this challenge. So the challenge was they had to take one of these flags that they were offered, which was not the most standard countries.
No, I was kind of expecting it to be those more I don't want to call traditional countries, but what you would kind of expect. Classic.
Maybe.
A classic country, or just a country that, you know, maybe has fashion like like Italy or one of those kinds of places where you're seeing those
That's
like
true.
like fashion.
No Italian or Parisian, no French.
Yeah, exactly. So I was kind of expecting maybe like fashion inspired flags. I don't know why, but that's just where my head went when I heard the challenge.
Instead, it was flag inspired fashion.
Yes, exactly.
So tell me, because you were taking notes at the beginning, I was slacking a little bit there. So tell me what the countries were again.
Okay, so we had Jamaica, Greece, India, the Seychelles, Chile.
Seychelles.
Oh, did I say it incorrect?
Seashells. She sells seashells by the Seychelles.
Ooh, I was writing quickly and I clearly misspelled. Okay.
The Seychelles are it's a group of islands, and I want to say it's somewhere like far away from here.
You know, I've heard of them. I don't think I have much knowledge of that location, but
Well, if you guys know, let us know where the Seychelles Islands are, and if anyone has been there, I'd like to go wherever they are. They sound pretty.
yeah, exactly.
So Jamaica, Greece, the Seychelles Islands,
India,
India,
Chile,
one
And-
more,
and New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea,
Yeah.
which was one that I was like, oh,
Yeah.
right. That's a country.
Yes, exactly.
So not your most typical flags, like we said. I mean, how do you think these designers got the inspiration for their designs?
I thought Michael was the most obvious one in terms of getting inspiration. He
Greece.
is Greek. He is Greek, and he chose the Greek flag, so he had that obvious in, and even he was struggling with it at the beginning of the challenge, though. Some of the others I was surprised with their choices. Jarrell went with India.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't go for something a little more tribal, because he's all about the tribal patterns and
Right.
the ethnic stuff, which he kind of did some ethnic stuff with India, but
And so Mondo was Jamaica, which I actually was really interested to see what he would do with that. And I was surprised at the results as well, but we'll get into that, I guess, in a bit. And then who else was surprising? And Kenley with Chile.
well, Austin chose the Seychelles Islands, which was interesting.
I think
he did it on purpose, right? He chose
yeah,
that.
he was not the last to choose.
And it was a flag that was very bold. It was like red, all the primary colors, red, green, blue, yellow.
And I wanted to actually see with that particular flag him use all of those
Right.
colors in a much more dramatic way than he did. I know that he incorporated them all through using a braided belt and other things, but I just wanted to see how do you mix those
He
primary
could have
colors.
done much better.
He could have done better.
Oh,
Exactly.
gee, have I not said that before?
I know that is like
I'm
your
not
Emma.
repeating I'm not repeating myself at all, Austin. I think every week you
Yeah, and somehow
I'm
he's
gonna beat my
always-
head on the mic about this Austin thing.
He's not even like in the bottom this week. He just keeps playing it safe
What
I
did
guess staying safe.
I know we're going to talk about this when we get to the runway, but I have to throw this out there because I want some of our fans to try to call in and let me know what you think, or tweet me, or tweet us at AfterBuzz TV, tweet me at Canden Bliss, because I was, when you heard, I believe it was the Marquesa woman, Georgina Chapman, say that that Austin, I know Austin's a great designer and he can design amazing things, but I'm like, every week that's what we hear.
I know. And I know we've both said it before, but I just want to see him come out. I feel like he's a designer that could do something so great. Like,
I know.
and it's just week after week, you're just like, oh, I like it, but no.
It's like, maybe if you squint, like, I mean, you could, like, far away.
I think we even said when we were watching, I like it from a distance, but when you get up close to it, especially this week, the construction of the dress just wasn't okay.
So, you guys, we'll talk about Austin some more when we get to the runway, but let us know. Call us at 424-256-1729. Tweet us at AfterBuzz TV. Let us know what you think about Austin if you're a Project Runway fan.
We can't wait to hear from you.
Can't wait to hear from you. So let's talk about the workroom a little bit. We always try to kind of analyze what happens in the workroom during the episodes.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in the workroom this week.
Do you think it happened fast, like we said? Do you think there was more stress?
I think they were really pressured to get these basically ball gowns done. And so you were seeing, I know, Michael, Mondo, And
Oh,
in
gee.
fun-
Again, surprise, surprise. Mondo was stressed out.
Yeah.
And oops, did he win the challenge?
yeah.
I feel like we're repeating ourselves every week.
Yeah, and Austin too was struggling, and you know, so we kind of saw them really, have
The
some
same.
problems. But Kenley and Austin, kind of at the beginning of the episode, were like, let's bond together, and then
Right, because Kara's gone.
'Cause
and
Kara-
so Kenley's like, where's my new buddy?
yeah, exactly. I need a buddy. Where's my buddy?
Where's my buddy to be like, oh my gosh, empty compliments, like 1, 2, 3, ready?
Right, and Austin seems like a perfect fit for that.
Yep.
So,
Oh yeah, he loves it.
but we didn't really see them much together throughout the rest of the episode.
You know, I feel like that's the pace of the show. That I think that's where we're missing some of the drama. Like I felt surprised because they felt really they looked really rushed to finish, but we had probably skipped a lot because they were edited it out for time purposes.
Right.
I don't know if our fans back home listening don't know. I think Project Runway used to be an hour and a half. And halfway through this season, they've shortened it to an hour. So
Yeah.
our whole pace has really changed. So if you guys didn't know that, that's what's happening now. It's only an hour long. But yeah, very rushed. A lot seems to be smushed into an hour, which is better in a lot of ways because I think it has intrigued us a little more with the show. The pace of the show at the beginning of the season was very like, okay, are we really gonna have to watch like a lot of episodes of this?
Yeah, and this may be the case with all reality shows, but I feel like, especially this season with Project Runway, as we've gotten fewer contestants, it feels like you know more what they're doing, and it's more fun to watch because when there were so many at the beginning of the season, it just kind of felt like a mishmash of no one standing out. And so now you're starting to see those, I hate to say it, but front runners in the competition.
Right. Did anything stand out for you as far as when Joanna came in and was talking to the designers?
You know what's so funny is I really liked Michael's design when she was looking at it in the workroom, and then when I saw it on the runway, I wasn't as impressed with it.
I think he played it really safe.
I tend to agree with you, and I also think that when you saw it on the runway, you saw if you're gonna do that kind of dress where it's a little safe, you want to make it perfectly constructed.
Right.
With
neither of the above happened.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, sometimes it's nice to see a designer play it quote unquote safe, but show a nearly perfect.
Like Mondo.
Mondo did a great job this week, although I have to say that I was a little concerned with his dress fitting the challenge because Jamaica, I know he explained it as that like it's a free, like loose fitting dress and it's comfortable to wear, and I get that, but I didn't think it represented Jamaica or the Jamaican flag very well.
Right. And you know, I loved the dress. It was wearable. As far as Mondo's goes, but again, I was confused. Like, is this Jamaica? Like, I've been to Jamaica. This is not giving that vibe to me. He did utilize the colors. Austin did not. And if you remember correctly, I believe it was Anthony who was eliminated for not following the challenge rules. And I am curious as to why those same rules did not apply to Austin this week.
Yeah, I felt kind of the same way, that I wanted, well, both Austin and in some ways Mondo, because they both kind of didn't go fully with the challenge. You can admit that I felt like Mondo, as great as the dress was, and I would totally wear it as well, didn't, and Austin just keeps skidding by. That's what I noticed. The judges look the other way. They're like, we like the overall ensemble, so let's go with that. Instead,
we like the idea of you, Austin. You never really make us happy, but that's fine.
Yeah.
You can continue to coast.
Yes, exactly. And so it's going to be interesting to see when he kind of crashes. I mean, I imagine he's going to. I will be so surprised if he is the final winner of this.
I feel like he's already crashed a few times.
I know. Every time we're watching, you're just like, oh no, it can't be him. Oh, he's safe.
I'm like, please send him home. I thought for sure, because his construction was terrible this week, and that is something that I think has gotten him by, is that he has had impeccable construction of the gowns or whatever outfit he's created. This week it was like one big mess.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I wanted to like the dress. I like the idea of I think he compared it to like a sunrise or
Sunburst and ocean,
right,
whatever.
And I like the idea of that, but the way that he did it didn't work, and it felt just like almost like he was trying too hard with the ruching, and there was a lot going on and a lot of bright colors, and
not the right ones, not the right bright colors.
Yeah, unfortunately for him.
What about Kenley? Because I mean, we did hear on the runway Isaac Mizrahi say, Kenley, come on, do something. Don't do this dress next week.
Yeah,
you've kept doing it. And I totally agree, and I wasn't surprised about that. But the one thing that I really was disappointed with her this week was her construction. Like, so awkward,
absolutely,
so unfinished looking, so not meshing as far as the patterns go.
That's what bothered me most is the construction. I understand that there are time issues, and as a designer, you should be able to do it. But sometimes people just run out of time. And I feel like if the rest of the dress worked, it was I believe the ruffles that were really the problem for her. It would have been okay, but the two patterns, and she's done this a couple times now, where I like the vintage style she's going for, but the two patterns that she sometimes puts together are not good together. And I would have loved to see, I guess, that red striping with a different, I'm not even sure what on the top, but something different.
She was Chile.
Yeah.
Did you get any, other than the peep of red on the ruffle?
Yeah.
Did you get, which was almost like seersucker to me, which is so not Chile. It's very like Martha's Vineyard or something.
No.
I mean, and then the leopardy print. I mean, did you get Chile at all from that?
I kept thinking about how. No, I didn't, to answer your question. But I kept thinking about ways that dress could be, because somehow the neckline, there was something about it that made me think at least Latin style.
Okay.
But
almost like maybe like Dancing with the Stars ish, like where they kind of have the more not constricting, but more form fitting top with the at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So I got that
flamingo or something,
like that taste of it, but I felt like there had to be more to it than this kind of reminiscent of something that I saw on an American dance show.
Right, that's true.
we should be getting something more from the Chilean culture.
Okay, yeah, I was very just weirded out, and the judges were like, "Oh my gosh, I love it! It's so modern." And
right, and I think that was another one where they kind of ignored what the challenge was, and we're just like, "Oh well, we like your inspiration, however it became inspired." Yeah.
Jeez. So what about who else? Who else do we have? We have Mila. Let's talk about Mila.
Yeah, Mila, it was not my favorite look of the night,
right.
I have to say.
But did you think, because, I'm a little disappointed in the judges' perspective because they loved Kenley's dress. However, Mila, her dress, they thought she didn't have a story.
Yeah.
And I disagreed. I thought out of everyone, her dress had the story. She talked about the bird of paradise on the flag and how that symbolized freedom, and that somehow it was something about the hemline, like the shorter hemline was confinement, and then the red was freedom. I mean, maybe if she'd done a little more of a loose-fitting train type thing in the side, it would have been a little more flowy, not so rigid.
Yeah.
She is all about those modern cuts and styles and very clean lines.
Did she actually say that description of the freedom versus the constriction or whatever
I think
to the judges? I think she...
No, I don't think she did. I think that's the problem. I think she told Joanna.
Yeah.
And Joanna's like, "Oh, I love that." Mm-hmm. And then didn't come up. She didn't, I guess, defend herself maybe.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I felt like. If she had expressed that to the judges, I felt like in that before she was put in the bottom,
right,
it would have been helpful to her, absolutely.
Right. So Jarrell, we have Jarrell left. I think that's the last one.
Yeah, Jarrell, it was interesting. He took a very literal approach to the challenge.
I'll say.
Yeah. And I think all the judges agreed that it became a little costumey.
Oh, yeah. But what would you have done differently? I know when we were watching, my mom is actually in town and she was watching the show with us, and immediately he was putting some kind of drapery on the dress, and he had the jeweled corset and the kind of mesh at the top, and it was very looked wearable until you kind of threw this green drape on, and she's like, get that away, and like, I don't want to see that draping. We thought for a second he'd removed it, but he didn't. He kept putting it back on.
I think he was just a person who was like, well, it doesn't look Indian enough, so let me add something else, and I'll put this on, and it became too much because there were components of it. I thought if you had done something simpler underneath and had the green draping, that could have worked, or you took off the green draping and had the dress there, and then there was a white stripe that I know the judges mentioned that didn't work for me. I can say that for sure.
I mean, I understood the idea of the white stripe. Maybe there was white in the flag, and he's using the color, and it could have worked, but it was very poorly constructed. It didn't fit well. Yeah. The sleeve was like too long, and I think Isaac Mizrahi said wonky.
Yes, which I think might be my new favorite word.
It is a nice word, especially coming from Isaac Mizrahi.
Yes.
But I feel like if you would have just taken that, put this over my eye and just not show me the green, I'd have been like, okay, take off the jewelry, because that was very literal. Yeah. With the draping and the jewelry, it was a national costume, like something you'd see at Miss Universe, Miss India, national costume. And that's fine for Miss India, national costume, but not so much for something wearable for Project Runway.
Yeah, and I just wanted to see something like his own interpretation of it a little bit, instead of just this like, well, I know what Indian culture is, okay, like, so does everyone watching, I assume. So it would have been nice to see him do a new take on that, I guess.
Yeah. We had a guest judge this week, and her name is Catherine Malandrino, and she is a French designer, I believe.
Yes, and she's done U.S. inspired or U.S.
flag inspired clothing.
Yeah,
yeah, and I wish I had a better, like a good picture of one of her designs, but they only showed us one photo kind of on the show, and it was kind of a very generic United States flag symbol or pattern, right?
It was interesting because obviously she's a high-end designer. You could tell from the look of the clothing, but it felt like something that you would kind of find like 4th of July-ish. And I hate to say that. That's really not the nicest thing I've ever said, but it felt kind of and so it was interesting to have her be the person judging it because she obviously did take a very literal interpretation. So, and then I believe they weren't a huge fan of Jarrell's look, so it was an interesting switch in that way.
Well, I think maybe it's because we don't, the U.S. maybe doesn't have kind of a national, I mean, unless you dress up as George Washington or something, there's not really a national costume for, not really. We have maybe national characters that symbolize our nation, but we don't necessarily have a costume like other cultures do.
Yeah, I feel like there's few culture. Well, there's some. It's kind of a mix. I feel like. I mean, there's items that are American fashion items, and other countries have that too. But in terms of like truly, like that is a XY culture. Right. Yeah, there's some that do and some that don't. So it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that they took her as a designer and her line of this flag inspired clothing and used that for the inspiration for this challenge?
Maybe. I would have liked to seen more of her looks.
Yeah, I think that would have helped the designers too to see an example. I mean, maybe they're not supposed to see an example. Maybe they're just supposed to be amazing. But I mean, it would have helped me as a designer if I were to do the show and if I was a designer. I feel like if someone gave me a challenge and gave me this is kind of an example of a successful person who's done this type of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like maybe it was an unfair judgment of what the challenge was for viewers because you see this very literal interpretation, so that's kind of what you expect from the contestants. Where
it's almost like you would have had like the way to translate her design onto today would have been like take the the Grecian flag and print it on that white Grecian dress and just make a drapey dress out of the print.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would have accepted that.
Yeah.
So I was a little, but you know, she had some interesting opinions
Yeah, absolutely.
on the dresses, and I want to say that, what did she say about the dress? I want to say she liked Kenley's.
Yeah, I remember that as well. Let's see. And she also really sometimes had disagreements, it seemed like, with Isaac about different things.
Yeah, Isaac was disagreeing with quite a few people tonight.
Yeah.
I know with Mila's dress, he said that he got communism from the
Which
dress,
is
and Russian, which I guess I kind of get. Once he said that, I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
maybe so, because it was very harsh.
It was very harsh, and also the colors definitely were.
And they were really like stern blocked colors and long lines. I don't know. I could kind of see that. But then he said something, it's disturbing to look at, but I think that was your intention. So in that way, good, congratulations.
Yeah, it was like kind of this weird backhanded compliment.
You're awesome.
Yeah, you're awesome. Good job.
Yeah. Ish. Let's just send you home now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little confused about that. But I mean, I think I did enjoy having that designer, I mean, the guest designer judge. I liked having her perspective. I find it interesting that she's French and used the American flag.
Yeah.
Usually French people, it's kind of a cliche that French people don't like the United States or
Yeah.
don't like American flags. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got a couple predictions and things we want to talk about for next week. I know there is an After the Runway episode, and it's actually airing tonight, but we're going to wait and cover it next week. So tune in, guys, next week, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. We're going to go to commercial right now, but when we get back, we've got a little bit of news and gossip, and we'll talk about After the Runway for next week.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Like, I'm mispronouncing country. I was like, what is going on? What am I saying? I have like the worst headache, and I'm just like,
You're so funny. Hey guys, welcome back. So we did skip the last little part. I'm sure you guys watched the show, and if you did, you know that Mondo took the cake this week, and his dress won, which I agree with, actually. It was down to him and Kenley, and I was like, oh, please do not let Kenley win. I would have been so angry if Kenley beat Mondo. And then, unfortunately, Mila went home. So, I do disagree with the judge's decision as far as Mila goes, because I felt like Jarrell really just went way off and had no reason for it.
right.
And I didn't like Kenley's either. So, I mean, she was in the top. So, I was a little...
Yeah, I felt like this week I didn't have a favorite. I kept looking to mark it on my notes, and I just couldn't choose who I really loved this week. I felt like everybody, either the ones I loved didn't follow the challenge, or
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I said I disagreed with Mila being, discarded. I disagreed with Mila's criticism. I disagreed with Kenley's compliments. And I agreed with Jarrell's criticism. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have a little news and gossip for you guys. And Miss Stephanie is going to talk to you about it.
Right, so
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we were searching for Project Runway news before the show, and we found out that Pharrell, a major music producer who's
His name is Pharrell
Williams, I
Pharrell
believe.
Williams. Okay.
And he is a music producer who's worked with Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears, among
Interesting.
others. I think the Black Eyed Peas as well.
Interesting.
And he and he's kind of known for his take on fashion as well. And so he'll be joining Project Runway All-Stars next week as a guest judge. So that's exciting.
Interesting. I feel like this is the first time we've known kind of ahead of time that there's going to be a guest and who it is. And I think maybe it's because next week is going to be, or this week is after the runway. So maybe it gives us more time to maybe find out about these types of things.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think his music's so interesting. So he might be interesting as a judge.
Oh, you
as
know
well.
him?
A
know of him?
No, a lot of people do know of his music. The Neptunes was the production team, and I think they've even done. You said a Britney Spears song.
Britney Spears,
I think
I
they did
believe.
"Slave for You," possibly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the '90s, they did the Rump Shaker song.
Nice.
I mean, it's just he's
Well,
very
I
interesting.
hope we don't have any rump shaking next week on Project Runway, although maybe on After the Runway.
Yes,
So
exactly.
if you guys have ever watched The Bachelor, which is one of the other shows I host here on AfterBuzz TV, they do an After the Rose ceremony where all the contestants come back and they kind of dish out the
Which
gossip.
is
They just
amazing. Yeah.
they just pull each other's hair out and yell at each other about what happened on the show, and we find out lots of dirty news and gossip about them. So next week your news and gossip segment will be even longer because we're going to cover After the Runway for Project Runway All-Stars next week. So stay tuned for that. Where it's going to be a little bit of an extended show next week so that we can get all that juicy gossip. All right, so what do you think's going to happen next week?
You know what?
And now,
predictions.
your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I don't know. I'm really excited to see. I think we'll have 5 contestants left, and it's going to be exciting to see who kind of pulls forward and whether Kenley will be able to kind of take Isaac's advice and show a different side of herself.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I like that I've said this before, has that, unique style and wants to show it, but I think you also have to show variety as a designer. So.
No, absolutely. So I know you had some little insight into next week as
Right.
far as what the challenge may be.
Right. So I think next week, on the March 1st episode, they're going to be doing a challenge using lighting technology. I'm looking at an MTV article right now. To craft an avant-garde design that Pharrell, of course, will judge.
Lighting technology.
Lighting technology. It's broad and kind of confusing, but I'm excited to see. I think it'll be interesting to see those designs for sure. It's something different.
They'll light up a room.
Oh, nice. Bum, bum.
So we will be with you guys next Thursday. We're going to cover After the Runway and episode 9. So you guys tweet us at AfterBuzz TV. Tweet me at Canden Bliss.
And at Stephanie Wenger.
And you guys be sure to tune in tomorrow where we'll be broadcasting 5 shows live from the Oscar Style Lounge at the Mondrian Hotel, brought to you by the Carrie Feinstein PR Company. So stay tuned for that and tune in tomorrow on AfterBuzzTV.com. See you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.